Hey everybody, my name is Doug Hughes. I am co-founder and president emeritus of the Southern California chapter of SFATA, the Smoke-Free Alternative Trade Association. I'm here today to explain a lot of what went down last week with the bills that were passed up in Sacramento that are going to ultimately regulate e-cigarettes. You've seen a lot of stuff online. There's been live streams, there's been millions of posts going around Facebook. And there's been a lot of fear and anxiety amongst consumers and business owners about what's coming down the road with these regulations. There's been a lot of information that's been put out. Some of it has been correct, a lot of it has not, and a lot of it has been talked about. A lot of it has to do with things that we really don't know the answers to yet. So what we want to try to do here is spend a few minutes, try to clarify some things. Some of what I am going to say is probably going to generate a lot more questions, maybe than answers, but I at least want to get the ball rolling in providing you guys with some information so that we can all be on relatively the same page and know what we're going to be dealing with going forward. So with that, you'll have to forgive me. I really don't do videos. This is probably my first vape video, so bear with me here. I'm going to do the best I can. What are the bills? The bills that were passed last week, there was a number of them, and they dealt with different issues, but ultimately they were all there to regulate e-cigarettes. We had AB 2X7, AB 2X8. 2X7 deals with smoking or vaping in the workplace. 2X8 was a major one. That one raised the smoking/vaping age from 18 to 21. You had the big one, Leno's bill, SB 2X-5, which is kind of a broader regulation of e-cigarettes. And those are what we're going to be talking about today. Basically, SB 2X5 will start there. I think that's the most logical place to start. SB 2X5 is a bill that is a very broad regulation of e-cigarettes, and it's actually not the law that's going to regulate e-cigarettes per se. What SB 2X5 is actually a bunch of amendments or changes that are going to be made to the existing law that's already on the books regulating tobacco in California, which is called the STAKE Act. The STAKE Act is the Stop Tobacco Access to Kids Enforcement Act of 2013. This law was designed to keep cigarettes out of the hands of minors. It dictates where you can smoke, where you cannot smoke. It has some different regulations for how you can advertise, how you can sell your product, how you can ship your product. And SB 2X5 basically changes the STAKE Act so that e-cigarettes are incorporated into it. Okay, so we're going to go through that as much as I possibly can and make it as clear as I can for you. All of these documents are available online. You can attempt to read them. I don't profess to be the smartest or the dumbest guy in the room, but I can tell you reading through these bills makes you dizzy and somewhat nauseous because it's all lawyer speak and they're not an easy read. So I thought it would be good to try to just kind of simplify these things, put it into layman's terms so you can understand what's coming. And I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to profess to have all the answers. There's going to be a lot of guidance coming in the next couple of weeks from SFATA on what these regulations actually mean. But in the meantime, we can get a little bit more into it. There's also another document, another set of regulations that's going to come into play in this discussion. And it's called the California Cigarette and Tobacco Products Licensing Act. Now what that is it's actually the framework or the actual technical description of how you can sell tobacco products in California. STAKE lays out the framework, and the Cigarette and Tobacco Product Licensing Act actually is the technical way or the technical regulations of how things can be sold. Okay, So a lot of the licensing and a lot of the definitions and all of the infrastructure as far as how you're going to be licensed, how much it's going to cost, what the penalties are, all of that are included in that particular document, and it all relates back to stake. But we'll get to that shortly. So why am I telling you all this? Because right after SB 2X5 and the other bills were passed, there was a fevered panic. Myself included, a lot of my counterparts over at SFATA, all of the advocates, vapors, business owners in California went batshit when that thing dropped. And you know, there was a lot of information that was put out there when we didn't have all of the answers. So, you know, like a couple of things. Some of the things that were put up on social media that may or may not have been true that I want to cover here are the following. One, you can't vape in a vape shop anymore. Okay. Two, you can't buy or sell products online in California anymore. Three, you cannot advertise or advertise online in California anymore. 4, you have to be 21 to be able to vape or now to work in a vape shop. 5, that you won't be able to sample anything anymore. And then 6, a lot of questions and a lot of confusion about licensing requirements. So I'd like to get into these individually. I'm gonna talk briefly about them and hope that I can clarify some things for you about those. As far as not being able to vape in a vape shop, untrue. You can absolutely continue to vape in a vape shop, okay? One of the bills that was passed was ABX 2-7. And what AB 2X-7 addresses is smoking in the workplace. There's already laws on the books that clearly state that you can't smoke cigarettes in your workplace. Okay, what AB 2X-7 was it closed loopholes in that law to make it even more strict. But what it also did was it included vapor products in that definition. However, the state government did recognize that vape shops, being able to vape in a vape shop is a critical part to doing business in a vape shop, and not only in vape shops but cigar bars, tobacco shops. So they did put an exemption into that bill that does not define a tobacco shop, a hookah lounge, a cigar bar, or a vape shop as a workplace. So there is an exemption there. You will be able to continue to vape in a vape shop. That's not going away, okay? Next, can't buy or sell products online in California. This one is a little bit ambiguous. According to everything that we've looked at to this point, you absolutely will be able to continue to sell products online in the state of California. However, there are going to be some restrictions on that. And the restrictions really fall upon being able to verify the age of the end user, of the consumer. The Stake Act clearly states that you have to have what they call third-party verification in your online commerce site or on your online platform. So what that means is you're going to have to be able to verify the age of the person you're selling to. It goes a little deeper than that. Not only are you going to have to verify it, there's also some shipping restrictions, okay, as it relates to the U.S. Post Office. You're not going to be able to ship to a P.O. box. You have to ship only to the address associated with the credit card that was used to purchase the item. There's a rule in there that you're going to have to physically call the person you sold the product to after 5 p.m. to confirm the order. But you're still going to be able to sell online. So those of you that were ready to jump off the cliff and move out of California, especially business owners that have online businesses, as it reads in the existing Stake Act, you can continue to sell online. You're going to have to put in some security measures to make sure you're selling to someone of legal age of purchase, but you will still be able to sell online. Next, can't advertise, especially online. Not true. You can continue to advertise, and again, there's some gray area here, but the advertising within the Stake Act, there are some restrictions. You cannot advertise on a billboard within 1,000 feet of a school. If you're outside of 1,000 feet of a school, you can advertise on a billboard. There's no language in the Stake Act that says that you cannot advertise online. None. Now, on the federal level, in the Tobacco Control Act that the FDA has, there are advertising restrictions. However, up to the point of this video, at the date of this video, those restrictions do not apply to e-cigarettes because there are currently no regulations for e-cigarettes. So you can continue to advertise online. What does that really mean? Facebook and Instagram won't allow you to do any paid advertisements online anyway on their particular platforms. So on Instagram, you're putting up your products, you're putting up ads for your products, you're not paying for them, they go to your specific group or your specific audience, you're going to be able to continue to do that. If that changes, obviously, we're going to let everybody know. But as it stands right now, as the law is written, you can still advertise online. The only stipulation is, if you want to get a billboard, it's got to be beyond 1,000 feet of a school. You have to be 21 to buy vapor products or to work in a vapor shop. Unfortunately, this is true. AB X2-8 increases the age of smoking from 18 to 21 with an exemption for anybody serving in the military. So if you're 18 years old, you're not in the military, you're not going to be able to purchase vapor products in California until you're 21. If you are working in a vape shop or you are working for a vapor associated business and you are not of the age, if you're not 21, you are no longer going to be able to work at that place of employment. And this is something that we're going to continue to fight very, very vigorously. California is a right to work state. However, just like you can't be a bartender if you're 16 years old, you can't bartend. Unfortunately, if you're not 21 years old, you're not going to be able to be a vape tender or work in a vape shop. This is why we're really pushing, especially 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, to call the governor's office and to make sure that they voice their opposition and encourage him to veto these bills. There's also a rumor out there that you're not going to be able to sample anymore. True and not true. There are some stipulations in Stake about self-service, what exactly is it? Self-service displays within a store. This is very much a gray area because within the Stake Act, there are clear definitions or clear guidelines to say you cannot have self-service displays for cigarettes, which will now become vapor products. However, there are exemptions for certain types of products within the confines of a tobacco shop, cigar bar, and then also it's going to be a vape shop once this is adopted. But there's still some gray area there. So for vape shops, every vape shop has a sampling bar. You may have to keep it behind the counter. You may not be able to do self-service. Any vape shops that have people mixing their own liquids, those days are over. You are not going to be able to do that anymore. You're going to have full control of your product at all times. Now, where it really gets sticky is with vape events. We all love the vape meets. We all love the vape conventions. Within Stake, when you get outside of a vape shop, as far as where you can vape, it gets very, very restricted. Because part of the bill, part of SB 2X-5, which is going to be changed in Stake, basically makes vapor products, it's a ban on vaping in public. And what that means is you're not going to be able to vape in any kind of public building. And there are restrictions. There are exemptions. It's a very gray area. But for any vape meet, for any vape event, any vape convention, one, you're going to have to overcome the hurdle of whether you're going to be able to vape inside the building that you're holding that event. The second thing is you're also going to have to verify the age of every single person in that building if you're throwing bottles out into the crowd. So the days of free stuff or free juice, those days are over. If you have a vape meet right now and you're standing on a stage and you want to throw out a bunch of free stuff, you're going to have to verify the age of every single person standing in that room before you will be legally, before it'll be legal for you to do so. So the sampling, as far as throwing out free stuff at the shows, more than likely that's going to be going away. Okay. Again, there's good side, bad side. There's been a lot of free stuff. Getting free stuff at vape shows has always been a point of contention within the vaping community. In California, with the new laws, that's more than likely going to go away. When it comes to licensing, it gets even more confusing. Okay, you have different levels of licensing. You have your retail, you have your wholesale, you have your manufacturing. Now, within the STAKE Act, as it's written right now, for tobacco products, without the inclusion of vapor products, right now it currently costs, if you are a retail store or a wholesale distributor, it is $1,000 a year for your license. That's your application fee, and it has to be renewed yearly. That's per location. For manufacturers, it's even more confusing because manufacturers right now are actually charged by the cigarette pack, a penny per pack. What they have produced for the prior year, that's what their license is going to be. Now, that doesn't apply to vapor products, and that's where in AB 2X-11, which was another one of the bills that was passed last week, it outlines a licensing framework, and in that bill, it says that it's a $265 license application fee that has to be renewed yearly if you're a retailer, a wholesaler, or a manufacturer. So it is spelled out in that bill. I've seen a lot of stuff online saying it was going to cost up to $250,000 to get a license as a manufacturer. Everything that we've seen, not one place have I seen that number. And everything that we have in front of us as far as the bills and the existing law, the most you'd have to pay is $1,200. Unless you're a manufacturer, it would be a penny a pack of cigarettes. Doesn't apply to vapor products. And the bills that have been passed clearly state $265 per location per year, whether you are a manufacturer, a distributor, or a retailer. That's how the bills read. So it's not a good situation. What I'm trying to convey to all of you today is it's not as bad as it was being made out to be last week. By no means does that make it good. Okay? The state of California is never going to get rid of the vaping industry because the state of California is completely dependent on tax revenues generated by the sale of tobacco products, which is why we're at where we're at. Okay? We've all seen the ads, the negative ads, the propaganda. The end game is and has always been being able to control and tax these products. We are taking a significant market share away from cigarettes and the tobacco market, which is reducing the amount of revenue going into the state's purse. So their answer is to take control, regulate the products, make sure they have full accountability for manufacturers, retails, and all of that, and then be able to tax it, which we're going to see in a voter initiative later on this year. You see something on the ballot that says tobacco tax, you vote no. Period. End of story. They want to raise the tobacco tax. Vapor products are going to be included in that. You're going to end up paying another tax on top of it. Speaking of tax, I've seen some stuff online that says there's a floor tax. We haven't seen any evidence of that. What I've just described to you is what we are facing right now. There's going to be a lot more information coming in the coming weeks. Here at SFATA, we've actually submitted all of this to our lawyers, and we're going to get some opinions and feedback from them in the coming week. Once we get that, then we're going to be able to formulate our strategy of how we're going to approach this. What can you do? What can you do to help fight this? Right now, what you can do is you can call the governor's office. If you are an employee of a vapor shop and you're under the age of 21, you can explain that you're going to lose your job because of these bills. If you're a business owner, you can share the economic impact that these regulations are going to have on your business. You're going to be losing a portion of your customer base because of the raising of the age to smoke or vape. If you're a consumer, you're over the age of 21, you can share your experience with about how vapor has impacted your life. Businesses are under no circumstances supposed to make any health claims. And if you are a vapor business owner, when you call the governor's office, please, I implore you, do not make a health claim. Do not tell the governor's office our products help people quit smoking. We cannot say that. Stick to the fiscal impact it's going to have on your business. What is the financial impact these regulations are going to have on your business? That's really all I have for you folks. I hope that I've clarified some of the confusion and some of the misinformation that's gotten out there. A lot of people, including myself, a lot of my counterparts, everybody reacted. Everybody went batshit crazy when this stuff dropped. And, it's taken us a few days to really get our feet under us and get some information and get some clarification on exactly what happens next. We will continue to provide you with additional information as we move forward. I thought it was important to clarify some things for you. You can, follow me on IG, Safada Doug, at Safada Doug on Instagram, Doug Hughes on Facebook if you want to follow me on Facebook. I'm always happy to answer any questions that you may have about the regulations of the business in general, and I will continue to do so. So with that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. It's Sunday where I'm at, and I'm going to enjoy a little vape because what's a vape video without doing a little vape? Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.